Hello, it's Howard Cooper here, the host of the Rapid Change Matters podcast. And listen, I'm making this video because I really wanted to share a few thoughts just about an upcoming training that actually I'm not promoting and that I'm not directly involved with, but I kind of do have some connection with. So let me kind of explain. Back in May, many of you will know that I hosted it was an event for Jørgen Rasmussen in London, where he was sharing for the first time ever with people his take on change after over 20 years working with clients as an agent of change. Going back a sec, one of the things that always impressed me about him was that he'd spent a lot of time of that time working with impossibles, literally being sent the people that no one else could help. And having seen him in action at last year's UK Hypnosis Convention, having interviewed him for the podcast, and seen a few live demos where people in the audience were literally spellbound, I just thought, okay, this is different. I've got to get him over and to do the full training of this psychological illusion model, and that's why I ended up having him over, and we did that 3-day event. So let me share with you kind of a few of my thoughts following this event. Back in May, and tell you a few of kind of my takeaway points. Because what I loved about the stuff we went through was that look, here's the thing, there are many, many, many amazing trainers out there and fantastic training opportunities that are out there. This was stuff that really felt different to a lot of the stuff that I see out there. It was unique. I've spent 15 years involved in the change work arena. I hadn't come across this stuff directly. In fact, it's fair to say that following this training, it so dramatically shifted my thinking about what change work was all about that it's kind of been hard to go back to doing client sessions in the same old way that I used to. So what did we do? What are the takeaways? Well, listen, I've known for a long time that most of us develop issues and problems because, we've got various patterns of thinking that we're doing that are creating some less than helpful states. And then, as a change worker, we tend to help people by helping them change these patterns of thinking. And that kind of makes sense. One of the key things that I kind of really questioned and began to take away after this training was this: do we even need to change these patterns of thought for there to be a change? Do we need to change these patterns of thought for there to be a change? Really consider that if you're helping someone to change their pattern of thought, is there not perhaps some implication that their current thinking is dangerous or poses some threat to them? We're thinking these things that, we mustn't do that. So it's just a useful thing to explore, and getting people to understand that they are just thoughts and that people don't need to be afraid of their own internal experience has had tremendous value for me and my clients. But listen, here's the thing. I know many people, including myself before the training, we all kind of get, yes, we know it's all thought. We get that consciously. But the reality is that just knowing that consciously doesn't seem to help. There's kind of another level of this, which is if we can help people really get insight at an embodied level that it's all thought, that's where the value comes. And, the two things directly I've noticed since the training, right? Number one, I've had more personal changes for myself in all sorts of areas that I have not until now been able to deal with, yet this stuff seemed to cut to the quick of it. And the other thing is that the clients I've used this stuff with since the training, I would argue in many ways have had more bang for their buck. And what I mean by that is I've seen people and they've kind of, they come in with one issue. We've done and worked this way. But then a bunch of other stuff that they didn't even tell me about has kind of cleared up. Why? Because once they discover the nature of thought and of thinking, but they really get it at that deep embodied level, that's where the magic happens. So this is not so much about telling people that they're just thinking, because they know that. They know that already. You know that. What I loved about the training was that it's helping you develop an artistry in helping them to make these connections for themselves. The way I kind of look at it now is, imagine, those dot to dots, drawing things. And if you want to help someone learn to draw, a dot to dot is a good place to start. There's a few little marks and you join them up in the right order. And then suddenly you could create a whole drawing. Well, it doesn't help them to learn if you join the dots for them. For me, the training that we did back in May was Jørgen kind of showing you how to create the dots, and just the right dots in the right way, so that whoever's sitting in front of you, they go and make the discoveries, have the insights, they join the dots for themselves in just the right way. That's really what I found was so useful about it. Now listen, I'm simply making this recording because I genuinely believe that if you are someone who's serious about change work, then this is something that you should make it your business to learn about. You may have seen various posts about his psychological illusion model around and thought, well, I do enough training. Do I need something new? I literally cannot recommend it highly enough. Now, listen, Pete Dalton is bringing Jørgen to Birmingham again in September. The link is below. This is not my event. I have nothing really to gain from recommending this to you, other than the fact that I genuinely believe this is some exceptional material, that if you are able to attend, it is absolutely worth it. When I ran the event for Jørgen, we got stacks of feedback sheets. I'm actually holding them here. All right? Let me share with you just a couple. Please bear with me. Worth every penny. Jørgen is not only a great instructor with unique material, he's also a great guy. I like this one. If you're serious about NLP, hypnosis, and/or change work, you owe it to yourself to attend one of Jørgen Rasmussen's seminars. Essentially, Jørgen cuts away the fluff, the excess, and watching him work is like watching the precision of an experienced surgeon. He's literally just cutting through the client's issues in the fewest steps. And one of the delegates, and this is probably one of my favorites because it so aptly describes the feeling afterwards. Right, wrote this in the comments. Right then, the way I work will never be the same again. I'm freed up to help change happen by doing less. What a beautiful thing. Listen, please, I see it genuinely. The Rapid Change Matters podcast is about bringing great content from lots of diverse backgrounds into the public, into the change work arena, helping it become more accessible, helping people get more information about the stuff that I really think makes a difference. And I really think this is something that, if you haven't considered it, or you're wondering, you're on the fence about it, take the plunge, go do it. I promise you will not regret it. It's absolutely phenomenal.